गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गनर शॉट। गनर शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। Today we're going to talk of India, China, and the distant horizons at which this relationship is. And to talk about this, I have with me General Rajiv Narayanan. Rajiv, welcome once again. Long time since you and I have had a
Yes,
chat on
a
Gunner
long
Shot.
time in just your platform.
Yeah, okay. And I must tell you that we've been meeting on P Gurus or with Sanjay Dikshit and all that, and we got out of the habit of talking to each other. We only meet in IIT, right? And suddenly yesterday I saw a few, what's happening in SCO, and Prime Minister went to Japan. A lot of important things happening, and Trump going off the boil as if he's about to, he's got swellings all over the countryside. So, right, then I thought it's been a long time since Rajiv and I got together and spoke. So I thought we will talk, and we'll talk something very important, right? So yeah, just give me your opening views. Then I'll show you a few clips of what happened, and then we'll take it up.
My basic view is the tiger and the bear are going to tango, and the dragon may be first amongst equals amongst the rest of the troop.
Okay,
The- because the
right.
relationship of the dragon and the tiger with the dragon, sorry, the bear and the tiger with the dragon is going to be purely transactional. And during the talk, I will
Yeah,
mention
we'll do that.
why.
Yeah, we'll
We
talk of
already
it.
know about us, the problem.
Mhm.
I'll give out the problem, the latest which has come out between the bear and the dragon.
Yeah. So fine, right? All of you who watching this, you'll hear a new analysis or a new narrative, call it what you want, which is quite different from what you're seeing in the media normally. Okay. Because both Rajiv and I had a different way of thinking about this whole story. And in the past 24 hours, something very different has happened. And what's the difference? And the difference is in Xi's opening remark when he met the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, in that bilateral yesterday. Then yesterday, Sai Chi, who's the Politburo Standing Committee member, met uh, the Prime Minister. Then, of course, Shahbaz Sharif came up with an interesting guy as part of his entourage.
Or shall we
Okay.
say, Awaz Sharif was part of his entourage?
Part of his entourage, that Shahbaz Sharif was already in the front. Right? And then, that classic thing of Shahbaz Sharif was standing, like a dafedar in the side. वो कलेक्टर के ऑफिस में होते हैं ना खड़े होके ऐसे so that a lot of things happening.
I was looking at him like the mess Gavdar stands to the side after the dinner night is over.
Nessa होल्डर ठीक है Ness dafedar. So what we'll do is we'll go over some of these clips. I'll explain the clips, and then we'll get Rajiv to decode, give a overall thing, and then we'll pitch in and we'll have a to and fro. Okay. You might find us talking over each other, so bear with it. Right. Uh, yeah, here we go.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जो कि चीन दौरे
1 minute. Yeah. Right. This is the one which, Sai Chi, who's the Politburo standing member, he came and met our Prime Minister yesterday. And he met him for about 10-15 minutes. And it is said that he wanted to invite him originally to invite him for a separate state banquet, which is meant only for our Prime Minister, and it is special. No one else. But unfortunately, or not, whatever, whichever way, because of lack of time, it didn't go through. But this coming as a special gesture from the Communist Party of China, especially when there's going to be a state banquet for the SCO meet and all that, has significance. This is one thing which is very, very different. We need to understand.
为维护亚洲乃至世界和平和繁
And
荣
this is
做出应有贡
Xi
献。
Jinping's talk to, in that bilateral meet. Have a look at what he says. Yeah.
很高兴在天津同莫迪总理再一次会面，欢迎你来华出席2025年上海合作组织天津峰会。中国和印度是两大东方文明古国，是世界上人口最多的两个国家，也是全球南方重要成员，肩负着造福两国人民、促进发展中国家团结振兴、推动人类社会进步的重要责任。做睦邻友好的朋友，相互成就的伙伴，实现龙象共舞，应当是中印双方的正确选择。今年是中印建交75周年，双方要坚持从战略高度和长远角度看待和处理中印关系，推动两国关系持续健康稳定发展。双方还要共同展现历史担当，坚持多边主义，携手推动世界多极化和国际关系民主化，为维护亚洲乃至世界和平和繁荣做出应有贡献。
Look, they say you can talk 100 words, but the crux lies in the words which you keep quiet. Silence has its own way of communicating. If you see the silence of Xi Jinping is on two issues. One, he has completely avoided talking of multipolar Asia. The second thing, he's just not mentioned the border, right? The border, which is the crux of the relationship between India and China, which they have already, even before when last week when Wang Yi came here, before that, they got out an article to say that, look, not a single inch of the border or the territory of China will be given or negotiated. So these two things have been completely left out. The rest, everything he has spoken. So that's the second part of this story. Okay. The third, of course, is again a very interesting character. Ye dekho. Yeah. This is Sabah Sharif coming here with his entourage. Now look on the left or rather right of Sabah Sharif, 2 steps to the rear. There you see Munira coming. Now, probably this is the first time you see the army chief of a nation accompanying the prime minister for a state visit, and that too for an important conference of this nature. Of course, this is meeting the Iranian Prime Minister Pezeshkian. That's okay, but just have a look. Asim Munir standing. To me, it appeared as if Shahbaz Sharif was like a dog on the leash, and the leash is being held by Asim Munir behind. You'll just see him coming up. Yeah. Yeah, there he is. So he's there, and all that. Oh, okay. Now, this itself is unprecedented, and we have to read between the lines. Why is this fellow there? Because he's now going to go and talk to everyone. He's going to be there for the next 3-4 days when the military parade and all that is going to go on. Okay. And of course, I'm not too bothered about his talks with Iran, but what is he going to do with China? So we'll have to think. And of course, the last picture I'm going to show you is, I wouldn't say interesting. It's only hilarious. That's the only word I can use. Okay. Let me show that. Yeah, there he is. You can see as Putin and Mr. Modi have walked, Shahbaz Sharif standing like a mess feather. So this is what are the striking things about this event. The images which I'll carry for a long time. There are more, but I just picked 4 because they convey a message and more. there are more layers to what's happened in this SCO meet. And we're going to discuss it today. I'm going to discuss it tomorrow also. But first, we'll take off. So, Rajiv, I kept you waiting for long. All yours.
Yes. Firstly, a word about Kaichi. Now, this breaks all protocol. Kaichi has been brought by breaking all protocol into the Politburo Standing Committee. He is essentially the head of the General Office of the Communist Party. No head of the General Office of the Communist Party has ever been put into the Politburo. He is the first who has been brought in. He has been the, you can say, the political secretary personally of Xi Jinping. Various provinces he has worked, but essentially he's been Xi Jinping's man. He looks after his complete security. There are reports that he may have broken ground. I look at it that it is the Communist Party and the elders sending a message to Modi through him. If they had thought about it earlier and reached out through our embassy, then in that banquet you may have had Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao also attending. Why do I say so? In his recent visit to Tibet, Xi Jinping barely stayed there 24 hours and came in. Yes, his health condition will not permit him to stay long. I don't see much in that he didn't roam around much. It's high altitude.
Yeah, even
It's a high altitude area, and if you're saying he has heart issues and other issues, obviously he cannot stay there long. He'll have to come back. He came back. But it is the other thing. For whom did the Tibetan province and the Communist Party lay out the red carpet? Not any other member from the Politburo, not any other member, other people. It was Hun Chunwa, who's in the Central Committee, who should not have been there. He was there, and the whole red carpet was laid out for him, not for the others. That is telling. Whom did that means he is coming up back somewhere in the hierarchy. And this may have been, so Kaichi, I look at it from that way, that he must be bringing a message not from Xi Jinping, but through the Communist Party and the elders. Because all said and done, you have also spoken about it's a testing moment going on at the moment because of Xi Jinping's ill health. There's a power struggle. Who comes out, we don't know. Xi Jinping continues or his coterie continues, we don't know. Number two, I caught on to one thing in his speech. He talks of both being of global south. Hello. First time he's openly admitting the death of his dream. Otherwise, they were talking of G2. Great power relations, G2. All down the drain. He now talks of him being part of the global south. And of course, they have always felt that it is a multipolar world in a unipolar Asia. They still follow the TIANJIN. There can be only one sun in the universe. That can never change. No, it is not that it is Xi Jinping's view. It is the Communist Party's view. So whether Xi Jinping is there or anyone is there, this is going to be the thought process. And because he looks at India as the prime challenger. If you look at his speeches, New Year speeches to the world at large and to Asia, all through his tenure as the chairman, the general secretary, he's always spoken about the Chinese model. You can grow only if you follow the Chinese model. And here India is growing not following the Chinese model.
The Indian model.
Yes. So then there is an alternate model available. And so you will be the prime. And very rightly you have said, sir, he has not spoken about the border issue. He cannot. So when I look at all the language that is being spoken, I'm reminded the language similarity is of 1988, when Tang Xiaoping and our then Honorable PM late Rajiv Gandhi had met. where again they spoke about the same thing: we must cooperate, we must join for the greater good of Asia, for the greater good. Because they suffered, actually they got caught by surprise in the Somdrongchu incident. And they have been caught by surprise, not just in Galwan, the economy is in
Everywhere.
is in deep decline. So they need some breathing space. And maybe if we throw something in, India may give us some opening into their market. Because without our market, he can't survive.
Even political help, even political strength is required. It's not only
Very,
this.
very. Because
Let me. I want to highlight. I want this to be a point. I'll put across a point. I want your view. See, I think fundamentally, Tai Chi and what we've been discussing about Xi Jinping's internal thing and the internal politics, and the fact that what's that? Wang Yuzhia, Zhang Yuzhia, and the grip of the rift between the PLA and the CCP, right? And the elders, and purges are still continuing. So all this indicates that somewhere China is weak. It's very weak, in fact. You take their economy, you take their military, you take their extra XYZ. I think they're politically weak. And everything in China is political. And if they're politically weak, they have to do all these nonsense.
So military, I will just add why I'm saying it's not just the equipment part. If over a period of 10, 11 years, you have sacked more than 200 senior generals, what is the morale left in that force? And senior generals, lieutenant generals, and generals, big time. Xi Jinping himself, what I was reading one place, was 168 generals he had already sacked in his 10, 11 years of service as the general secretary. Within the last year and a half, Zhang Yuzhia has purged Xi Jinping's 44 generals and lieutenant generals. Just imagine how many it becomes, 212. Not a joke.
Yeah.
It destroys the morale of the force. Totally destroys the morale of the
There's no leadership left. There's no leadership. There's no military leadership. Right.
It is a very desperate time for them. And so that is why I connected the similarity of language of China of 1988 and today.
And now. And one more point which I thought we could highlight to everyone, and we've been speaking of it, is the effect of Op Sindoor itself. You see, Op Sindoor, all their equipment failed. I mean, notwithstanding their propaganda about J-10 and this and that, the fact is their equipment failed. Pakistan got hammered because they used Chinese equipment, and that is why Pakistan has flipped and gone and sat in Trump's lap. This same Asim Munir and gang. Because they have, the Chinese equipment was not useful. The same Chinese equipment is deployed along the LAC. And whatever happened or not, China knows with their equipment, they can do very little against India. I mean, don't you think they're militarily also weak from that point of view? That
is why I said, sir, all metrics you take, whether you take economy, whether you take political, whether you take social, whether you take military, in every level, it is at a very weak position. Something similar. So in 88, Deng Xiaoping even then had no faith in the military with the kind of thrashing they had received in Vietnam War. They need time. So the only way for them is to make peace with India so that they can build back again. That is their hope. Whether they will be able to do it or not is open to question. But they want that kind of peace along the border so that they can develop again to threaten India. That is the whole issue.
Yeah, I go with it. Then do you think India is countering this well? I mean, we have no doubt. I mean, let me put it. We have no doubt. We have
what was told to them that what we are keen on, flight, visa, means nothing. It actually means nothing. So now when you tell them these things, the message is very clear that you're only going to give them these issues and then you will see and take it forward.
Yeah, then we'll see, take it forward. And
Niti
also the
Aayog
fact
may have said invest, but government is
they have
not
to
keen
come.
on telling them. But the messaging which is coming is clear that you want any space in the market, make it here. You make
And
it
only
here,
with make it here. Yeah. Okay.
then it's okay.
And
Otherwise, no. And that doesn't work for China
for
because then
China,
there are
yeah,
no jobs there.
they have to dump stuff here. Fundamentally, they have to dump Chinese goods here, right?
Which
And that has
you're
come
not
out. That
allowing
has come
them
out
to do.
to do. And that has come out very clear in their writings, that there's no doubt in all formats that has come. I mean, I want you to comment on another thing which has happened. You see, before this trip to China, uh, our prime minister went to Japan, right? And did the deal. And he's got investments of $68 billion from there, things like that. And they've also issued a statement that, there shouldn't be unprovoked movement across East China Sea and South China Sea. And unilateral action shouldn't be taken, all that. And that was clearly pointing a finger at China. And then he's entered Tianjin at the point, had his bilateral meeting. Today I attended and he's quit already. Okay, he's quit. And he's not stayed there for the military parade. Everyone else in the SCO is staying back there for the military parade.
So
What do you
you
make out of this
mentioned about
major
Japan.
messaging?
So
No, give the macro picture and then this. Both. You take
we
a
went to Japan. What happened in Japan 24 hours before that? The delegation which was to go to discuss trade with US literally tore that trade deal, threw it in the
deal.
dustbin, and he's walked over to India's camp. The semiconductors, the screens, everything they are shifting, making it here. And they're openly talking of Japanese technology and Indian skilled worker and the capacity which is there. Because if Japan wants to build extra capacity to sell to the world, that capacity lies here. That is where the 68 billion comes. I will add in that 1st October onwards, the agreements have to be signed, and we have to see when the deals are passed by the parliament and from which date it gets applicable. What our media is also missing is the FTA trade deal that we have done, EFTA rather, that is Norway, Iceland, Sweden, and
India
Liechtenstein.
has
1
Now,
minute. 1 minute, sorry. Yeah, please. Yeah, carry on.
so what is important is it is going to commence with effect from 1st of October, which implies all the parliaments have cleared it. 100 billion is the investment. A lot of people may not know there is a lot of R&D work which goes on in Switzerland on various sectors of manufacturing.
Yeah. They're
Okay.
precision machines, yeah? Precision machines.
Yes.
Swiss watches.
Wristwatches. There are a lot of, and they have selected certain sectors where they have gone in whole hog and said that we have to do this. That is what is coming to you.
Nay, tomorrow the German minister is here. The German
Yes.
foreign minister is here tomorrow.
Yes.
The new guy.
What everybody, EU is turning away. I would say in EU there is a sharp divide between the Western or the old EU and the Eastern or the new EU. Now, I understand. See, Eastern EU has had its issues with Soviet Union. So they will be a bit chary and a bit worried about Russia. But Western have just shut shop. I was listening to Chancellor Merz talk. He was giving it in German, and you were getting the AI transcript.
Okay.
Not transcript. The voiceover was coming in English. 180 degrees turnaround. Nothing doing with Ukraine. He has himself committed that for the last 3 years, not quarters, 3 years, Germany is facing recession. Germany's growth rate has been pegged by the IMF at I think 6 or 8%. Japan is 0.4. Are you telling me Japan is not in recession?
Yeah, it's there.
Sorry, France. France is also in recession. And the two who have broken ranks to join BRICS are Hungary and Greece. And France is sending back channel fevers. I'm sure countries will start coming in. So now what is happening here, that from Japan, you have clearly sent a message to China that, handsome, if you think I have no options, thank you.
I
I
have.
have better options than you. So don't think I'm going to open up everything and lie down. Just forget it. It's going to be transactional. If I find you're doing something which is beneficial to me, fine. But look
Otherwise,
at
get lost.
the manner in which what offer they are giving. Agriculture. Right? He's looking after his interest because he's food dependent. But he's only opening telling you can send agriculture things to us. Why? My manufacturing is as good, if not better than you. You don't want my medicines. Pharma, globally, I'm the number one. You don't want that. So he's still hesitant to open the market. So that is, I think, the kind of messaging which has come in. Japan and others are joining up with you. So which is where I think
Struggling.
he's feeling left out. And
Yeah,
this
I think
messaging what happened of Putin waiting for 10 minutes and
to meet.
before the actual bilateral meet, having a 45-minute drive and discussion, and Modi
In the
sending
car.
out an excellent discussion. Nobody knows what they discussed.
Yeah, I go with you. Right. And we've spoken of Japan. I'm going to tell everyone, I'm going to show a small clip to everyone of what is the feeling of India in Japan on the street. Okay. That is interesting because I got this and I thought I must show it to everyone.
5 lakh workers are going from India to Japan because they have a
Yeah, 5 lakh.
demographic challenge.
I agree with
5
you.
lakh.
But have a look at this. This is very interesting.
Not
Yeah.
India has to more closely to cooperate each other to improve ourselves. Not, to be honest, not the Western people, America, not China.
Why do you think so? どうしてそう思ってるんですか? Why?
We can share not 100% same, but very close common sense.
Relation.
Yes, and common sense
Common
is
sense.
very important. We cannot share with Chinese. Their common sense is different. Totally different world.
Totally different world.
You know Chandra Bose. I think he's also Bengali,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So Japanese like him and Chandra Bose.
Yes, Chandra Bose. I've been to India more than 10 times. Many places.
Great.
あったかいし
あったかいし楽しそうな
ニコしてそうって
堂々としてる姿がかっこいいな。
インドの方の印象とかってどんな印象とかあります？
まあみんな真面目そうな顔をしてますね。
マナーはいいんじゃないですかね。頭が大変良い。
日本人の女性ってインド人の男性をどういう風に見てるっていうか、どう感じます？
インド人と付き合う日本人の女の子って大体もう真剣な恋愛を考えてる女の子の方が多いんじゃないかなと思うんですよ。まあ俺の彼女もなんかこういう顔が好きで、まあインド人の性格が好きだからとか、もう本当にフランクの人が好きだからっていうこともあったから私と付き合い始めたっていうわけでもあるけど。
Yeah, look, see how, the true picture of people to people contact, people to people liking. So, I mean, when you have people to people liking and everything is there and we have a historic relationship, I think Japan offers a huge thing, especially considering Japanese. You've seen the Japanese, they don't like the Chinese. And like you rightly said, to these days, 70% of Japanese don't like Americans today. It's a survey which I've been showing. So I think there's a huge messaging which has gone across. And I want your views on this kind of a feedback which is coming.
So basically the issue with Japan is, while he spoke of common sense, they find a deep cultural connect. It's a Buddhist nation. and Buddhism has come out from Hinduism. So they find a deep cultural connect also with us. Unfortunately, what has happened in China is the Communist Party has destroyed all religion.
It destroyed the culture.
Complete culture, complete civilization is destroyed. So that's why when he opened that global civilizational initiative, I was laughing. I was laughing and rolling on the floor that what civilization is he talking about? For him, civilization began in 1949. He destroyed everything which was there earlier. So that is where the Japanese people also, if you find, see, the biggest damage that China did to itself under Mao was the cultural revolution when he broke the family and even asked kids to spy on their parents. But when these people come to India, they find the same kind of family culture existing what they find back in their
house. Yeah.
That you have to respect your elders, look after your elders, be with them. That is how they don't connect with the Americans and the West. Especially the Americans, because they are more into putting them in old people home. So there is a connect which comes in at people to people level automatically. The common sense and other, he said higher IQ. He didn't complete, that Indian boy didn't complete. Why the Japanese girls are looking after the Indian boy? Because the Japanese man works 12 hours a day. He has no time for his wife. Whereas she knows this man has his time for myself, and when we are together, he will also help me work at the housework. He will also help me with the housework. So
yeah,
that is the whole issue.
I did. Okay. I don't know. One of the things which came out in the evening, late in the afternoon, I was seeing it came out. This business of global governance initiative with this chap. So let's talk about that.
Okay, sir. Now, this is his fourth attempt, I must say. He starts with the, I think, Global Development Initiative when his BRI was faltering. Then he brought in the Global Security Initiative. Nobody bought into it. Then he brought in the Global Civilizational Initiative. And whom is he talking to at that time? He's talking to the Arabs, who have no connect at all with the Chinese. And now he's finding, okay, now we are all talking of governance and global governance and Trump destroying the global governance. That is the chatter. So comes out with a global governance initiative, and they give out 5 points, which as per Global Times are very great. What is it? Sovereign equality. Does he abide by that? Nothing. Abide by international law. Handsome, what are you doing sitting in South China Sea?
South China.
When the international law has decreed against you that it is not yours, and you're fighting at Scarborough Shoals, you're signed UNCLOS, but you're not ready to abide by it. Means you have a problem with the EEZ. Okay, if you have a problem with the EEZ, why the hell did you sign the UNCLOS? UNCLOS deals with the EEZ. Then multilateralism. So he is very clear that globally there should be multilateralism, but Asia, I will be the only voice. And people-centered approach. In what manner? You look at the people who go out as tourists to other countries and who work in other countries, there is no people-to-people connect. They live themselves, they create their own markets, buy their own stuff, and look down upon everything. When you look down, because that is what the teaching is from childhood, 21 books, I believe Mao had written, which they have not translated in English. Those people from US who were pro Chinese at that time, who have read it, they say that everything that teaches China is the best and the only civilization which is the best. Now, the child is not open to any other civilization.
So he's brainwashed.
Social manners. The thinking is very different. So it is then take real-time actions. What do you mean by real-time action?
तो बाकियों को काट दो.
Take real-time action. Real-time action what? Are you going to war? You think
वो तो खुद करने जाता.
Yeah, you think your civilization, some global governance which you are wanting to implement doesn't take place. Are you going to war? It's just thrown up in the open with no explanation as to what do you think it should follow. Just giving 5 bullet points means nothing. And just thrown it out like before, like the earlier 3. This is, I believe, is his 4th attempt. I feel it's just use of words, more like our election sloganism. During election time, people come out with slogans. This chap has also thrown a slogan.
But no, there's another thing. Okay, I go with what you're saying. It's not going to work. That's a different thing. But I think we can't brush it off so easily. Considering the fact, I think he's making use of the opening which Trump and America have given him.
Americans have given. That's what I was meaning when I said the chatter is all on global governance, which has been destroyed
By
way
America.
things were moving, which has been torn apart by Trump. So he sees an opening there. That, okay, let me throw this. And which they will be his allies, they will be his paid people around who will waft great about what he has said.
Yeah, on that, there's no doubt at all. Now let's talk a little about Russia and India, because, the car ride.
Before that, I will clarify my first statement which I made about it is the tiger and the bear which will tango. Why the bear is angry with the dragon. It's not, yes, map, they again reclaim that Bolshoya Uruskaya island. That's
a small piece.
It's a small
piece. In the Amur River,
yes,
bigger is Trans-Manchuria.
Happened is in May, June. This year, May, June. There was a defection from the MFA of a diplomat who
and
was
his wife.
having an affair with his boss's wife, and he ran there and he carried a top secret document. It talks of Chinese plan for a post-Putin Russia. They have given 2 scenarios. Post-Putin, they must provide complete support. It's a reversal. You see, it was the Communist Party of the Soviet Union which assisted the Communist Party of China. In a role reversal, they are talking of the Communist Party of China to give full support to the Communist Party of Russia to gain full control of Russia, which they will control. China will control. Okay, so they gain control of all the oil reserves and minerals, which the Americans have been trying to since the Soviet Union broke, unsuccessful. Okay. The second part was that if they are unable to do that and a pro-European government comes in Russia, break Russia into 2.
Along the Carpathians.
Along the Ural mountain range.
Okay. Yeah.
East of Urals is the Asian portion of Russia. So they will support the Communist Party of Russia to break Russia into 2. East of Urals to have an Eastern Russia where they will provide full support to the Russian Communist Party to take control, and they will provide full support and they will dictate the policies. Now, which country will accept it? And accept and say that he will be my friend? When you have this kind of vision, a top secret document, then that husband of the wife also went there, and all 3 of them were sent with a small note that that document is with us.
That's the end of the...
That is the end of any tango between the bear and the dragon.
Dragon.
Ultimate motive was seen. So that is why I said right at the beginning that we know what all has happened with us, with the dragon. So it is the tiger and the bear which are going to tango today, not the dragon. Dragon will also be kept there with the troop. Maybe he looked at as first amongst equals, because you both will have a transactional analysis. You went there, you met Xi Jinping, of course, Tai Chi also came to meet you. You had your SCO session. You went together, and Putin waited for a PM to come 10 minutes. They drove together for 45 minutes and then had their meeting. And the only messages come is there are certain agreements that they're going to sign. that the delegation will come to India and they're going to sign various agreements. Because as I see it, there will be more aspects of defense, energy deals, and of course minerals will also
Whatever.
be on.
Yeah, I
And
think
what else?
energy they already spoke of.
Yes,
Already a
energy
message has
to
come about
premier hai,
energy.
defense ka hai. I'm looking at minerals and something else from India there, because they also are looking at to bring themselves up economically and technologically. What he has essentially is defense technology. In the other field, and then he has energy and he has minerals. Rest he has nothing. Is he looking for something more deeper from us out there? I don't know. Let's see how it comes. So, and they're going to talk about the north-south alignment, the
Transit. Not so
international
transit for
INSTC.
INSTC.
Today, the
Through
INS,
Chabahar.
the talk is from Chabahar. The talk is coming up of taking it east of the Caspian via Turkmenistan. So, railway, because Azerbaijan for some reason has not been making that last 60 kilometers of railway line connectivity between Iran and Azerbaijan. It passes
They
through two
worried, no?
provinces of Iran, which is mostly Iranian, which is where the last prime minister's helicopter had crashed. But Iran has not connected it as yet. So
They
they are
worried,
looking
no?
at connecting it
They
to
worried.
Meshed. The moment you connect it to Meshed, then automatically the old
You're
Soviet railway
through.
line get connected and takes you to
Yeah.
Astrakhan and St. Petersburg.
Iranians are worried about Azerbaijan because Azerbaijan has been supported by Israel.
Israel. So
Okay.
they're looking at this place, and which will be interesting because Turkmenistan has been like a hermit, not going to any side, but the complete gas is controlled by Gazprom. The
Yeah,
gas,
complete.
yeah, it
You've
is
been there
controlled
in
by Gazprom.
Tajikistan after all.
So
You
the
know.
moment this happens, then there are American attempts of trying to woo Turkmenistan to get their oil through to Baku, and they're not going through Georgia now because the BTC line, Baku Tbilisi Ceyhan line, is there. Today, Georgia has a pro Russian government there. They are trying to overthrow that. So they are going through Azerbaijan, and that is the reason background to Trump getting
Yeah, Gore, Sergey Gore has.
Armenia and Azerbaijan to sign a deal because he wants to get
Then,
it through Armenia and get it to Turkey.
not only that, that's why the Sergey Gore has been made the envoy for Central Asia
Yes,
also.
Central Asia also. Because
Central
then they
Asia
are
also.
looking at getting Central Asian oil, building
Yeah,
Kazakhstan,
and,
Uzbekistan
and,
also. That
and that is,
Trans-Caspian will make the pipeline and you can get the oil and then get it out of Russian control. This,
and that is why this fellow called all those Central Asian chiefs also, if you remember,
yes,
Kurila and all that 2 months back,
yes,
when before he got that medal and things like that.
yes.
Yeah, so these games will play. We'll see how to play.
And
But first,
this is the
America has to play
background
for.
to this is the background to Russians also very keen with India to take the eastern.
Yeah, yeah. So, look, all those who are watching, please, I hope you're getting influences from what we are talking. There's a huge world reordering going on. And what you see as things are unfolding, if you go to the normal channel, you'll not get this thing thinking at all. There's a whole world reordering going on in which India has a major role to play. It's a critical role to play. On one hand, you have China, which is auto collapsing internally, right? Because of politics and economy and demography and military and all that. It's going back, regressing back overall. You have America, which if you see today the in the Twitter about how Americans are reacting to what's going on in the SCO Summit, I've never seen such things happening. Everyone is, saying, where are we? We are left out in the cold, virtually. And you see an America which is still a huge giant. It's got the biggest economy, it's got the biggest military, it's got the biggest of everything. But it's got a leader who's completely thrown them off. So a new axis, a new world order is emerging. And in this world order, you are also seeing India, which is progressing at 7.8%. No one comes anywhere near you. And I keep telling everyone, I keep telling all of you, Rajiv is is a Ahmad man, and he'll understand what I've been saying. The whole story is not about mass, it's about velocity. Okay, the kinetic
Or rather,
energy
I
comes out
would
of
put
velocity.
it more
Yeah,
as tempo.
tempo. Yeah,
That
that's
how
what.
you finish one
It,
and how fast you take on the next.
get on to the other. So it's mass into velocity is
Velocity and
momentum.
tempo.
Momentum and pace is called tempo, right? And we have the tempo. Yeah, I want you to speak a little on this because put it in context. People understand this
I would
business of mass, momentum, and tempo.
see, mass is tanks come with whole mass. So today you have like I always say in wherever I go, our rise is despite all what the West has done. If China, people say China has developed so much, just imagine how much of investment and opportunity and technology was given to China by the West. That is how China has come up. Okay, you have come up because of the mass, our people, their resilience, and their will to do well. That is how you have risen. That is the mass that you give. And today, the kind of technologies and other things that you're bringing out, you have the velocity and you have the tempo. Tempo, exactly, actually, it means is how quickly I finish one task and get on to the next task and carry on. So you are doing a lot of things at a very high tempo. You have your whole lot of people. I'm not saying 100%. See, if in a country of our size, even if 40 or 50% of people are doing it, it generates a whole lot of momentum because of 50% of your people is still 2 times to 3 times the size of USA, the population of USA. And if you're looking at the working population, you might be 4 or 5 times if you take 40%, 50%. That is the kind of. Why do you think Japan is asking desperately for 500 workers from? Wherever
I
you
like.
see, people are very happy with when you come there. Why? You are not there to create nuisance on the street. You work for the betterment of the society where you are sitting in and for the place where you're working. And you are friends with everybody. You are not fighting them that I want Sharia or I want this or I want that or I want that. No, you're not doing anything. You contribute to their development. That is what they like. That you blend there, you work with them, you contribute towards that. What else do you want? If you're facing a demographic challenge, that somebody comes there and is working with you, helping you, become part of that society, doesn't stay in ghettos where others are not permitted. So that is the biggest advantage that we have and our people have when they go out there. So I would give my thought on US under Trump, and I'm sure a lot of people in US must be getting worried. How is Trump different from Xi Jinping? He's turning to
He's worse.
authoritarian.
He's worse.
Yeah,
The way I look at it,
he's
he's
gone
worse.
into authoritarianism. He's just signing decrees, declaring emergency. What is the emergency? Has he ever? Okay, fine. He's telling that I have had trade deals with 9 countries. Has anyone seen that trade deal signed agreement? Not one. Not one. I challenge that White House press girl who keeps telling he has signed 9. Show me that 9. Who has signed? You may have had a verbal agreement that, okay, generally this could be the framework. That is not a trade deal. If that was the trade deal, why were the Japanese negotiators going back to USA for the deal? That means the deal is done and dusted. So, same thing like Xi Jinping, make wild statements. The biggest worry I have in US is He is arm twisted Intel and he is wanting to have 10% stakes for free in all your private companies. And the most damaging, that he is going to dictate the policies. Is that capitalism? That's out and out communism or socialism or leftism. In a communist country, they dictate the policies to their companies. Not in a capitalist country. Which path is Trump taking US down? When will the Congress wake up? Because if you look at their constitution, I think I'm forgetting that article, it clearly says for international things, any agreement, any tax, any tariff
has to be ratified by the Congress.
Congress, and that also the bill starts not in Senate, it has to be tabled in the House of Representatives first. That sequence is also given in the Constitution. If you read the International Economic Emergency Act of 1977, that comes into play after the Congress has declared that there is an economic emergency. For that also, the bill has to pass from the House of Representatives and then to the Senate. Who has given Trump the authority? And I'm surprised that the Congress is also not calling him to task. How many edits he has signed, and every day he signs 4, 5, 4, 5. Not just external, he's also declared emergency and signing internal. He's not looking out for the problem of homelessness as to why they have come there and why the homelessness is there. You're deploying your National Guard to throw them out of Washington. I thought you would have worked out some things. You're giving so much of dole to people as part of social security. You might give them some housing, create some housing and put them there and look how to generate jobs. Tariff war is not going to generate jobs. So you'll be having more and more people homeless. Yes, you want Washington to look nice. What happens to the suburbs and outside? That's where they'll go.
Yeah. So I think they're in a bad shape. And America is not going to come out of it very easily. All this nonsense. Right? Many things. Now they've gone to court also against Trump and almost everything. Right? So that's where our importance comes back. But before we conclude, we must talk of this, odd couple next door. Asim Munir and his lapdog. A little.
So
how do they contribute to this whole thing?
Though he was left out there, now my concern is essentially the internal challenges that will come about, because the sinking China, this is what it does. It tries to externalize. Military is not with him. Military has become very weak. Morale is very low. Then what will he do? He'll only do internal something issues. My concern is the language being used by Navarro, which is a very divisive sort of a language, and which the opposition, our own some of the paid opposition are trying to use that for their benefit, which is going, both Trump and China will use Pakistan as their cat's paw for creating internal problems for India.
In India.
That is the challenge that we have to be very sure that it will come. And it is coming. So how long Trump will be there, we don't know. We have to work for the worst case scenario that he does his full 4 years. If you have catered for whatever challenges are going to come in full 4 years, then you're on pig's back. So that is the biggest challenge. And he might try to instigate again, because the people today in Pakistan are not with him. Pakistan has been given the pejoratory word of Hira Mandi. He's called Munni Bhai. All that is on. The damage has happened within the fabric of the society. The society now looks down on the army. The only time they come united is when there is a war.
External threat, yeah.
So we'll again initiate that. So we've got to be prepared for that, to keep our powder dry. And the worry that US has more and more, why he will try to use this, that his transatlantic relationship is in shambles. And one by one, the East, let's see, your UK has already signed the FTA with you. So it's a question of tabling it in the parliament, clearing it from both sides, and fixing a date when it is applicable. Canada, which earlier was in talks, then Trudeau walked out, and now Carney is ready to talk to you for FTA. France,
Yeah, ambassador reinstated.
yes, so France is keen. Germany foreign minister is coming; they are keen. EU, the trade negotiations and talks are already on. 4 of the countries, EFTA, which I told you, they've already signed.
Yeah.
And Western Europe is generally turning away from Ukraine. And I look at Zelensky's talk to Modi under
Abhi,
yes, before the meeting, Zelensky rang up and spoke at length, and I'm sure
they would have spoken.
Exchange views of Putin, and then they might try. Now, what happens to Trump is suddenly you find India negotiates a peace.
So he'll get Nobel Prize, no?
Then he will become even more bitter. And he will push Pakistan, because after all, Pakistan and he, it's not exactly Pakistan and he, it is Pakistan and his family which have the crypto deal. And the crypto deal today is the best for money laundering, and you can use that money to fund anything. So I look at it that way. As more and more it crumbles, he'll become more and more agitated, and challenges will start coming to us. That said, one thing we must remember, that the USA's Wall Street, their hedge funds, most of them, and the MNCs have not given up. They're not walking his path. They're not on the same page. There are 1,950 at the last count global capability centers. Yes, 58.
Yeah, in India. Yeah.
58, 59% India has funded. Rest is all these people. Your MNCs, the high tech, the fintech, the e-commerce, your Wall Street, they have funded.
Yeah.
And after April, when he started this tariff war threat, they are keen to increase it to 2,500. The number of India.
Sam Altman wants to establish AI chat GPT here completely.
All these are working on all these cutting edge technologies and everything on your management, financial management. All these tools working here. At the current moment, at last count, what I had read was 18 lakh of our people, skilled labor, are employed.
Yes.
They're working and they're very happy. Length and breadth, 2,500. So that is why I'm saying, don't burn your bridges. That may be there, but the Wall Street and MNCs are not on the same page. That Tim Cook openly gave you. When he said he's going to invest in India, he's not stopped. iPhone 17 this month is going to be inaugurated, and 54% of what is sold in USA is going from India.
Yeah. I think that covers the whole lot. So what I want to tell everyone is, look, we've covered a whole lot of things. This is one view, right? This is one view. Tomorrow we'll see another view of this business of his global governance initiative. What are the implications? We'll take the worst case scenario. You see, when you do analysis, you don't get the best case scenario. Today, what General Narayanan has said is a balanced case scenario. Tomorrow, I'll take on the worst case scenario of this global governance, how it's going to operate. I'll get someone else in the evening, Sriparna Patak, who's from OP Jindal, who's done her PhD in China. I'll get her to give a different viewpoint, and then we'll see by Thursday. We'll get back when we speak with the Three Good General show with General with Sri Iyer. By then we'll get a holistic view and we'll get back. So we're going to discuss this in detail, because for us it's a great opportunity. It is also a time of I would say a lot of uncertainty. how we go through this needs a lot of discussion.
Precisely, sir.
Right?
This is uncharted territory.
Uncharted territory.
I'll clarify why uncharted. Till now, the change in global order always took with a huge war. This is first time
war.
that it's a geo-economic war.
Yeah, which is
not a clash of arms. So nobody knows how it is going to take place.
Yeah.
This is uncharted territory.
And this geo-economic war is, supported by small wars taking place all over. And
so it is
all
uncharted,
these are
absolutely uncharted.
Completely. And, it's important that we discuss this through and through. Right. Okay, we'll take a few questions. There are too many questions. I'll just take only the start ones and, leave it at that. Because otherwise, we'll be sitting here. Malot, thanks a lot for joining as a member. Yashwant, thanks a lot for your contribution. Jude also, thanks a lot. Sajid Kumar, what if the West decides to teach India a lesson and ban both goods and services, which amounts to 800 billion a year, and half of India's private jobs depend on this? I'm just thinking of WCS. Please don't shoot me. Okay. No, but we'll discuss this. Okay.
No, I'll just discuss it.
Yeah.
Let it say it bans your goods and services. As I see it, his complete high tech will shift to India. They can't do without you. I just told you this kind of global capability centers you won't find anywhere in the world. It's here. That means they depend on you. A whole lot they depend on you, they'll shift here. That is point number one. So don't think about your jobs going. I think about US jobs going. What happens to their health service? 50%.
They'll collapse overnight.
Yes. 50% of your of their normal health service depends on our pharma. 90% of critical health saving medicines is our pharma. It will collapse. He will never ever do that. That will be the end of the Republican Party. Let me tell you that. Why has he, even after giving 50%, not only he has excused these two, he's excused that same Russian oil on which he's telling you and giving the tariff he's buying. Diesel and aviation fuel is still buying from you. That is why our EAM said, no, if you don't like it, don't buy it. No? He's still buying it. आप देख रहे हो दोहरा चेहरा, two-faced, Janus faced.
Yeah.
Because you're buying this, I'm tariffing you, but he's buying that oil from you. He can't do it. He doesn't have the strength.
The point which is been brought about health services in USA. Very important point. Very, very important point. Let me add, I'll not talk of USA, I'll talk of Ireland. I heard the Ireland Prime Minister in some interview telling people in Ireland, please behave with Indians. If you misbehave with Indians, you are killing yourself, because the maximum number of Indians staying in Ireland are in the health services. They're the doctors, and all that. And you're gone.
In US, you will never find any emergency room in any hospital in the length and breadth of US where you don't have an Indian origin doctor or an Indian origin nurse or an Indian origin nursing assistant. It cannot run without.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Okay. Trump wanted India to stop supplying Russia oil to Ukraine. यार यूक्रेन का पता नहीं, उसका पैंट है या शर्ट है, उसको ये नहीं पता है, तो बेचारा वो लट्टू की तरह.
By the way, thought provocator is not going directly through us. I think it is going through, either Azerbaijan or Turkey.
Okay. Right. Our US only corporation has popped up Trump, and after setting up USAID, Pam, Patel, Tulsi, is Trump starting to drive his change of new deep state.
Trump is a puppet. So if you think he is going to change the deep state, or if he thinks, good luck to him.
Yeah, nothing will happen. Okay. Jayan, thanks a lot for joining as a member. And Akshar says, Rajiv ji, why isn't India developing and testing fractional orbital bombardment system? It's a weapon of the future. Why should we always aim to catch up with USA, China, etc., and not be a pioneer instead?
See, all these things which come up, fractional orbital system, bombardment system, will come up even when you make your ICBM. Uske pehle I don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need it at all. Yeah.
I don't need it. So at the moment, I don't have an ICBM. So
why should I do it?
Without that path.
And look, let me also tell you, Akshar, FOBs is a fancy technology. Okay, not everyone has it. Chinese tried a FOBs with the hyperglide vehicle and all. Do you know how far it went off from the target? It went 20 kilometers away. It's not easy. Uske baad they have not tried it again. Even the Chinese have not tried it again. All these things look good on paper, but when you actually execute them, they're very difficult and they're very costly. Do you need it? You know, in war, technology is not the answer. The best technology, I keep saying this, the best technology is the one which is cheapest and wins you the war.
It is the one technology I underline, which my Bhoop Singh on ground can grasp and make the best use of. He will win you the war. You give him a technology which he can't understand, he's dead.
He'll not win. He's dead. Okay. Then seems like Sharif in fact wanted Putin's autograph. Okay. Yeah. Then Kartikeyan, thanks for your super sticker. Ashish also, thanks for your super sticker. Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to take other questions. There are far too many which we'll not be able to handle. But folks, thanks a lot for joining in today. You like this video, do press the like button and subscribe to Ghana Shot. Join me back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock when I'm going to talk about this, his new governance initiative and the implications.
GEI, GSI, GCI.
Yeah, what is the story? What is the story and what is this narrative which is coming out? Look, whatever you say about China, good, bad, or ugly, the guys are at it. And if you're not, you're not careful about it, it will slip by. At this point of time,
things like what we said, so sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah,
they have tremendous tempo on these issues.
On these issues. Okay, and they've seen an opportunity. Just as we see an opportunity, they've also seen an opportunity in this entire situation. Okay, and we must understand that China has been working on this for quite some time. For the past 20 years, they've been working on these initiatives. That's why they rolled out one after the other. They've gained influence. They've infiltrated into societies. And they've controlled other governments without the governments knowing. They're doing the same thing here in India. Please understand, there are chief ministers in India who wish Xi Jinping on his birthday. Okay, that's damaging for us. So it is even more blatant in other places. So we'll discuss the flip side of what we've spoken today, and then we'll see where it goes. Okay. All it leaves me is thanks a lot, Rajiv, for joining in today. I thought we had a great discussion. So we'll meet next on Thursday with Shreyar and Dushyant also. And we'll meet that quorum. Till then, thanks a lot. Great to have all of you. Good evening and Jai Hind to all of you.
Jai Hind.